In this video, we're going to find the surface area and the volume of a cylinder. And we're going to do it two ways. We're going to do it just by using our common sense, finding the area of each of the parts, like the area of the top and the area of the bottom, and then the area of the side all the way around. And then we're going to go and have a look at our formula sheet and try doing it using the formula sheet. So first of all, let's write down what we know. We know we're given a diameter. We're given a diameter of 14 centimeters, which tells us that the radius will be 7 centimeters. And my advice for working with circles is, if they give you the diameter, write that down, but also write down the radius. If they give you the radius, write that down, but also write down the diameter. That means that whether you're trying to find the circumference or trying to find the area, you'll have the information you need and you're less likely to get confused. Now, let's start figuring out the surface area here. So let's start with the surface area of the top. And we're going to need to do that twice because we have the surface area of the top and the surface area of the bottom, right? So we got two circles here that we're going to deal with. So the area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. So let's find the area of the top and then we'll double it up. That's by a top. So a top is going to be pi times 7 centimeters squared. Pi times 7 squared. Which will give us 153.9. I'm going to round that off to 154. And because we have centimeters squared, 154 square centimeters. Now, we have a top and a bottom, so a top is going to be the same as a bottom because they're the same. Now, let's find the area of the whole side thing. And I find it helps it if you think about this as if it was a can with a label on it. And if you were to just cut the label and flatten it out, you would get a long, thin rectangle where this is going to be the height of the cylinder, which was 9 centimeters. And then this would be the width, but the width goes all the way around the circle, which means the width is going to be the diameter of, which means the width is going to be the circumference of the circle, which happens to be pi d, which happens to be pi times 14 centimeters, which happens to be pi times 14, 43.9. I'm going to round that to 44. 44 square centimeters. 44 centimeters. So this side, the area of the side happens to be 9 centimeters by 44 centimeters. And that will be 396 square centimeters. So if we're adding up the total surface area, we want the area of the top, plus the area of the bottom, plus the area of that label that wraps around it, plus the area of the sides. $704 square centimeters. Okay, let's see what we get using our formula. I'll just write these dimensions. I'll just write these dimensions larger so you can still see them. The radius was 7 centimeters and the height was 9 centimeters. So, formula for the surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi times r plus h, and this is going to take into account the top, the bottom, and the sides. Surface area is equal to 2 pi times the radius, 7 centimeters, plus the height of 9 centimeters. Surface area is going to be 2 pi r times r plus h. Surface area is going to be 2 pi times 7 centimeters times 7 centimeters plus 9 centimeters. And this is going to take into account the top, the bottom, and the wraparound sides. Surface area is going to be equal to 2 pi times 7 centimeters times 16 centimeters. Surface area is going to be 2 times pi times 7 times 16. 703.7 rounds to 704. And that's going to be square centimeters because centimeters times centimeters. And if I check the answer that we got before, just using our common sense, I can see it's the same, 704 square centimeters. Now the volume is a little bit easier. And the volume for anything like this, if you figure out the area of one of the ends and you multiply it by the height, you'll end up with the volume. So let's take a look at our volume calculation here. We get pi r squared, okay, which is the area of the top, right? The area of the circle is the top. And then you just multiply that by the height, and you get the volume of a cylinder, pi r squared height. So volume will be pi times 7 centimeters squared times the height, which is 9 centimeters. So pi times 7 squared times the height, which is 9. I get 1,385 cubic centimeters rounded to the nearest cubic centimeter.